Alrighty, I just about broke my phone because I got mad at losing at golf on iMessage. So we'll just lay my phone over there so it doesn't get broken. Hi. I never know what to do for these intros, so the intros are just going to be a hot mess until I start talking and introducing the episode, so be prepared to be entertained when that happens. But anyways, hello, welcome to the Lethal Venom Podcast. This is a show where I talk about anything I want with the honest to God truth, no lies told. I'm your host, Noah, and today I'm going to be talking about my dating experience. So, long pause, I love it. So, I have been single for 23 years, and I have been on the dating apps, and I'm just going to tell you about my experience I've had on there. I swear I just about broke my watch. I also had a survey from you guys. I asked on my social medias if you want to be included in a survey coming up. Make sure to, well, I don't want to plug it right now, but on my social media I posted on my stories about a survey coming out, and I created a dating app survey. And so I'm going to be reading some of your responses. I want to thank everyone that did submit a response. I read all of them, and yeah, you'll hear some of them here soon. But yeah, I don't really know where to begin. When did I start dating apps? Okay, here's my thing. I was very much against dating apps. I never wanted to be on there because all I thought they were hookups, and you basically were setting yourself up to be murdered. Or at least that's what you hear on the news. I think I started dating apps when I was in college, which I never dated anyone in high school. I mean, in middle school, I went to a dance with a girl one time, but I think she was just dared to ask me out. So I don't think she genuinely wanted to go to the dance with me. I think she was just dared by her friends to go ask me out. But that's about the only time I've actually ever been that close to a girl. Love admitting that on to the whole universe, but it's true. I have started dating apps when I was in college, and I want to say 2022. Yeah, I think it's when I started. I think the first app I downloaded was Bumble. Yeah, I think it was Bumble, which at the time I was only looking for friends. So it was only the best friend function. Because at the time when I got it, Bumble was the dating and friend app combined. Now they're separate, which, why, I don't know. But yeah, I used that for best friends, and there was another one called Wink that I used. That app did not last long. Bumble, I met some nice guys on there. Yeah, I mean, I've met some nice people on there, but we haven't really had any dating relationship status happen. I didn't really get onto the dating side until last year, I think. And I don't know. I have rarely had girls swipe on me. That's just another thing. I just don't think girls are sexually attracted to me. I don't know if they're afraid that I'll kill them or something, which I guess I give off serial killer vibes. I don't know. But yeah, I've talked to a few girls on there, and then they remove me instantly. And I'm like, okay, well. And like, I've had girls just laugh at me walking down on college. I've sometimes had girls just laugh at me. I don't know, they're just mad they didn't get dick the night before. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess they're mad that they didn't, but not my problem. Okay, so I've used Bumble. I used Bumble, the friend side, for the longest time. Tinder got downloaded, I think, in 2023. Yeah, Yeah, I think it was about 2023. I downloaded that, and that's been a whole experience. I've had good experiences and I've had bad experiences. Um, One of the worst experiences I've had on the app was I went to these two guys' house. They were married, or I think they were engaged. I don't know. I pull up and they lived in a huge house, and I thought that they had the whole house to themselves. Again, I'm real shy, and I usually don't like going to people's houses for this reason. I usually like to meet them in a public or have them come here, because I know if they come here, they can't kill me. Um, which they still could, but I would have a chance to have a weapon on me. If I went there, I would have been defenseless. Um, yeah, I went to their house and they seemed fine and normal guys, but then one of them got like a spam call. He was on the phone, I'm not kidding you, for 45 minutes pretending to be a trashy mom, and his lover, wow, what am I, 1950 status? His, well, shit, what, I'm trouble with my words. Partner? Yeah, I'm just gonna say partner. I know that's basic. His partner pretended to be a kid, and it was just them yelling at this spam caller. There were so many times where I wanted to leave, but I thought, how do I leave quietly? I've never snuck out a day in my life, so of course I didn't know the first step into sneaking out. But then that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was there was someone that lived upstairs above them that was just coming downstairs, and I thought, I am about to be killed. I don't think the person that was there knew I was there. Long story short, that was the first and last time I saw them. I immediately left that house. I hightailed it out there like I just robbed the place. And then blocked them basically on every social media I had them on. And then luckily they didn't have my number. I'm real picky about who I give my number out to. I swear my watch. I'm about to take this watch off. Yeah, blocked them, and I thought I blocked them on everything, and then like a month or two later, I get a text from someone, and I recognized who it was, and I said, I was like, immediately blocked them on there. I was like, no, we're not dealing with this today. That was one of the more scary, worst experiences I've had. Other experiences I've had have just been like, they're an asshole. They stood you up, in which I don't really go out on dates. I never, all these people I've met, I've never said let's go on a date, because I'm just awkward on a date. I've never been on a date. I've never been on a friend date. I've never been on any kind of date. So of course, if I'm on a date, here I am, look like an earthquake that's going to trigger a huge one any second. I'm going to cause the whole earth to open up. I'm basically going to melt away. But I have noticed that there are some groups of people on here, and this segment that I'm going to do is calling types of people on dating apps. So I should have wrote these down because I know I'm going to forget, but these are just the main ones I've endured, and then I'm going to continue telling basically the rest of the app story, and then I'll get to y'all's responses. The first set of people that I like to call are like the add and dash, and these are the people that will add you, and the second you say something, they just immediately block you. I really don't understand why those people are on there. It's on Bumble, it's on Tinder, it's on any dating app, really. I've also used Facebook dating, in which I don't use it anymore because it started getting a little too... Facebook dating got a little too out of control. It was chaotic. But this would happen on all the dating apps I've been on. Has happened where they'll add you, they might say hey, and then immediately remove you, and I'm like, okay. The next group, I've also endured these people that I like to call the anonymous crew, and these are technically people that will make a profile, and none of the pictures that they make are them. I've encountered so many odd, weird photos on profiles, and this is mainly a thing on Tinder that I have seen. And it doesn't matter, it's boys and girls. Does not matter. It does not matter the gender. This happens with everyone. Everyone does it. They'll have 5 pictures up. They all do not correlate with one another. None of them show a face. None of them show a body part. None of them even show anything humanly possible. The 5 photos could consist of a golden rock, a green lawn, a feather made out of tombstones, a puppy that has no eyes, and a unicorn dancing on a rainbow. I'm not kidding. That's literally the photos you see. They don't have any correlation with one another. They're just totally random pictures that do not show who they are. I thought, if you're that scared and you're doing that, don't get on Tinder. Get on another, like these hookup apps. And that's another thing. The people that consider themselves down low or secretly hiding them, get off of Tinder. Because Tinder and Bumble to me are more dating apps. They're not hookup apps, which I think some people just mostly use them for, and that's what they basically have turned into. But I just don't really understand why they just make a profile and they don't show their face. If for me, if I don't see your face, you're an automatically left swipe. I don't care if you're behind the screen, the most gorgeous person in the world, you are getting that left swipe. No questions, no if, ands, ors, or buts. No. I've also encountered people that I like to consider the ghost. They are ghosts because they will add you and then you hear nothing from them. So this has happened. This happens very frequently on Bumble, but it has also happened on Facebook dating and Tinder, where you match with someone, you say hello, never respond again. And this could be months, it could be weeks, and you hear nothing back. I thought, if you're not going to respond, get off of dating apps. I don't get it. I don't understand why these people get on these dating apps and they don't talk. They don't chat. It really hurts when you match with someone that you think you're going to have a really good connection with and then they never respond. And I'll be honest, I've done it once or twice where I forget that the app exists and I go on there and notice that I had missed a match and I'm like, oops. But I try to text them, or I usually answer back people, or I'm the first one to message. I've also seen the people that do the body parts that don't show they show everything but their face. And this actually does include, they'll show an arms, they'll show a hand, they'll show a foot, a leg. They may show a booty pic, they may show cleavage or just a chest, but they do not show anything that is above from the chin up. And again, those are the types of people that just get immediately swipe left. I feel like that's all the people that I can think of. I just really don't get it. And people think I'm crazy when I ask for snaps on there. I've had people request some of the most ridiculous stuff. I've been asked for money before. Literally they will say no, not hey, not how are you. They'll just say snap question mark. It's like, are you not going to say like, hi, how are you? You're just going to immediately go to snap, in which I give it to them because honestly I don't use the dating apps as much. I do not text on there. So Snap is my main form of communication. It just catches me off guard sometimes. I feel like there was another group of people on there, and I'll probably think of this again. I should have wrote it down. But I don't know. Those are just the 4 main people that I experienced, 4 or 5 main people that I have endured on these apps. It's crazy. I don't get it. I've had Tinder and Bumble for the longest time. I still have them. Facebook dating was a brief, maybe 3 or 4 months, and then I just ended up eventually deleting it because so many people started adding me and I was matching with a little too many people, and it took forever to answer back through every message. So Facebook dating kind of got chopped off. It got axed. I told them, I said, if you want to stay in contact, you have until this date to add me on something else. And whoever didn't, they basically were axed. Yeah, I've never tried any of the hookup apps. Some people don't think I've tried Grindr. Some people think I'm lying when I say I've never had it. I've had to go in my phone, put in the app store the app name, and be like, see, I have not used it. I don't believe in hookups. I don't like those. If you just do that for a living, don't do it. It's not worth it. I mean, if you if you have fun doing it, I mean, it's your life, but for me, I wouldn't do it. I guess we can go ahead and go on to the submissions. Again, I wanted to say thank you to everyone that did turn in and submit a response. So, for the people that submitted it, or did not submit it and didn't have a chance to read it, I made a dating apps, just a Google form that was related to dating apps, and I said, this week's episode focuses on my experience with dating apps, and as you could hear, it has been an experience. I would like to hear from you and have you share your experience on dating apps. And I told y'all to give me all the good details. The stories could be bad, they could be good, they could be funny, sad, or any other emotion. I did put that all responses are anonymous, and any names that will be mentioned will be bleeped out. So if you did mention someone's name or a place that I had never heard of before, I am going to bleep it out, so you don't have to worry about that information being leaked. I had a total of 18 responses, so thank you to the 18 people that responded. The first question that I asked was the big one, which was, what dating apps have you been on? And I said, select all the ones that you have used. And the options were Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Grindr, Facebook dating. And there was I think Plenty of Fish was another one that I put on there because I'd heard of it. And then there was another option, and then you had used another app to use that. Of the 18, 14 people said that they had used Tinder. 9 people said that they used Bumble, and 9 people said that they had used Hinge. 14 people have used Grindr. 13 people have used Facebook dating. Plenty of Fish had 4 users. The other ones are other ones that I've never heard of before. I see 2 people have used an app called Archer. 2 people I see have used an app called Taimi, Taimi. I've never heard of that one. 2 people said Growler. Never heard of that one again. 2 people said Scruff, and 1 person said Jacked. I have heard of Scruff, but I've never heard of the other 2. So this is where we kind of go into more. I'm just going to say what the questions are before I go into the individual responses. So the questions I had, and the rest of these were optional. You didn't have to answer all the questions. The question I asked was, which app does your story come from? So if you had like a story that you shared, you would put, you would tell, oh, my words. You would basically tell me what app your story occurred from. I will say a lot of them occurred from one app, and people probably could already have a general idea of what app I'm talking about. I wanted you, for the people that submitted a story, to rate your experience on a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. And then the big one that everyone wants to know is, everyone wants to hear basically what happened. And so the first response that I got, and I don't know if I'll read all 18, I'll try to read a few just so everyone feels like they got it. And of course, if I don't read your submission, don't think that it's nothing personal. It's just that there was a lot of people that submitted it, but I do appreciate you taking the time to send it in, and I do actually read all the responses to myself. So this first one, they said that their app, their story comes from was Tammy. Again, an app I've never heard of. He said that this experience was a 2 out of 5 hearts, so it's not a good experience. Or she, I don't know. I just assumed it was a guy. Oops. So they said that this guy added me and we were supposed to hang out, but he kept ignoring me and then gave me an excuse that something happened with his family and that's why he wasn't answering, and we're supposed to hang out when everything calms down, but I don't think we will. In my experience, dating apps aren't that great. I have had people over the years basically say the same thing, where we try to hang out and they never do. They never come through. It's always an excuse every single time. So I understand how frustrating that is. Next story we have is from Grindr, and this was one of the more popular apps that a lot of people had experience from. This person rated it a 1 out of 5. They said, I was talking to this guy for a long time, for about 5 months, and then he told me he's not actually 21, he was 15, and he ended up reporting me because I was quote unquote being weird. Ooh, 15. I mean, here's my thing with people that get accused of talking to someone that's underage, but they lie about their age. If you go to a police station or if they try to report you or something, you can turn it right around and say, look, they said that they were this age. I'll just make sure to get physical proof of that so it doesn't look like you made up this. So you don't have evidence that they were shown 21. So this next one's from Grindr, another story from Grindr. This person rated it a 4 out of 5. But the story, I feel like, would be, for me, a 1. This person said, I met up with a guy that did hardcore drugs in front of me. I mean, if you think that was a 4 out of 5, I mean, I personally would not have had, okay. Anyways, another Grindr story. Here we go. And of course, this story was rated 1 out of 5. And he or she said, Grindr has been nothing but a mental health nightmare. I would go on and try to make friends and find someone, and it just left me feeling worthless because no matter how many times I messaged someone, the moment I sent the pic or pics, I would get blocked or ghosted, and it just makes you feel worthless. Here's the main problem with the Grindr app. That app is full of hookups. They do not want friends on there. Now, I've heard people say that they have had general relationships, and some people even start dating and get married from there. Those are just the ones of like, where I hear it, I said, you're lying. That did not come from that app. All they want on that app is hookups. That's it. They're not going to care about your name. They're not going to care what you look like. As long as they get what they want, they will go to the door and then they'll go on to the next person. So if you're looking for friends on that app, that is not the case, because I've heard from multiple people that it doesn't work out there. Just if you want to have friends, get on Bumble or Tinder. You have better luck on there. Oh Lord, another Grindr story. I had about 8 people submit one, but this person gave it a 5. Oh, how ironic that we talk about a person that hookups, and then here we are with a great story from Grindr. Honestly, this was not planned. This is just totally in the order they come in. So this person said, this guy and I met on Grindr in November of 2022. We talked for a while, then made it official. After 1 month of dating, he stayed the night, and the next day we woke up, and this was my first relationship ever. I was freshly 18. Because I wouldn't give him sex, he broke up with me over text 3 days later. But before he broke up with me, he was very quiet and barely talked to me. We used to talk on FaceTime for 4 hours or more and would stay on the phone while we slept. But before he broke up with me, he would FaceTime for like not even 3 minutes. Wait, I'm confused. If y'all broke up, I don't get why that was a 5 out of 5 experience. But again, that's what they want. if they don't get it, they'll just chuck you and you will go on to the next, they'll go on to the next person. I'm sorry. I know that's not the truth you want to hear, but just from what I've heard from other people on that app, that's what that app is that if they don't get sex or any kind of sexual pleasure, then they're basically gone. Also, 4 hours or more on FaceTime, I can barely have my friends talk to me for 2 minutes. So, he's a plus for that, but a minus for everything else. Oh my god, another Grindr story. Okay, well, this person rated this story a 1. They said, I wish I could give this a 0. Oh, well, okay, we'll just say that it was 0. I'll say it. The guy hit me up on Grindr. I was bored and horny. Decided to have him over. He came, we had sex. Then when he was one, he started questioning me about my HIV status and asking that I quote unquote turn the lights off as he was exiting my room and house. He was a DL guy who apparently had immediate regrets about the encounter. He required I show him my PrEP bottle. Like, dude, even if I was lying about being on PrEP, it's a bit too late. We've already slept together. Yeah, I don't think you slept with a what's the highest honor in high school? Whatever. I want to say college. Who top of the class? You didn't sleep with someone top of the class. But wait, I'm confused. He sounds so dumb. I mean, if you're scared about that, okay, I'm not gonna question it. I mean, for a DL guy, that's just basically what you get from them. I mean, there's just no way to say it. And again, I'm not a genius on it, but if he would have worn protection, I think he would have been fine, honestly. Because, again, I'm not a pro. I've never had sex before. I'm not a pro at this. I'm a virgin, so I don't know nothing. But wouldn't you, if he would have worn protection, I think he would have been okay. I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert, so I don't know. Oh, Lord. Another Grindr story? Well, how many people submitted it? Because I feel like I've already read 8. This person gave it a 3 out of 5. And all they said was, fell in love after a random hookup. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad. Well, I guess it was okay. Hopefully that story turned out okay. Change of apps. Our next story comes from Bumble. You rated it a 1 out of 5. And you said, well, he literally went crazy. He went into a psychotic episode and flew out to me, and I had to call police and get a restraining order. Ooh. I have never heard of people that had to put a restraining order on somebody. Ooh. Well, hopefully everything's okay and that they don't have any contact with you. That's scary. Oh my god, I would never do that. If I was so desperate for love, I would never get on a plane and fly out somewhere and be lost. No. Alright, our next story is from Tinder. They rated it a 5 out of 5. And they said, we started talking in December, dating in January. I would assume, I guess, January this year. He is a cellist. Because you say, and I play clarinet, so I assume that you mean the cello, so I don't know if that means. I sometimes wonder how I graduated college and have a degree when I can barely speak. A cellist, again, if you know the cello. I'll just say that. And I play clarinet, and we can relate so much on music and just family issues like not being out to the ones we live with. It's a journey, but I still love and care about him. Well, that's really sweet. I mean, it's also special. I think if you find someone that you have common interest in and you come from the same background, because that person would understand what you have gone through and they understand what and you'll understand what they have gone through. So I always support that. I hope y'all work out. I hope y'all do good. Because y'all seem like perfect match. I'm a little jealous. Oh, here we go back to the grinder. Oh, damn, this is a long one. Okay, throat. We can do it. You rated a 1 out of 5. I can tell from the long story this deserved a 1. You said, I've been catfished by plenty of guys. Most of them with pictures of them while they were younger and they were 10 to 20 years older than their picture. Was. There was one guy where he invited me to come over. I thought his picture was attractive, so I said, yeah. I thought he was mid-20s. He was not. It was probably mid-40s, and the address he sent me was his dad. If I laugh, I'm sorry. His dad's house, and we hung out up in a hot tub, and that was weird. He then tried to invite me over to his hot tub warehouse, and I politely declined because I didn't feel like being murdered that week by a strange man in the hot tub warehouse. The last time I used this app, which was a while ago, I was on a work trip in a big city, and I thought maybe I could find someone to have an experience with on the app tonight. I found a guy that was available and I thought was attractive based on his pictures he sent, so I sent him the deets to my hotel room, and he knocked on the door. I looked at the people. This man is maybe 30 years older than the pictures he sent. He was like 50. He was like a 50-year-old man, and I was too polite to send him away. But man, I wish I did. I tried to get a friend to call me and be like, oh, there's a pretend emergency. You have to blah, blah, blah. So that I have an excuse to push him out, but it was like midnight and they were all asleep, so that was a bad experience. Oh, honey. The first one. I have never in my life heard of a hot tub warehouse. I'm kind of intrigued to know what that is. What? I mean, to be in his 40s and to still live with his parents, I understand money is so bad and everything's so high, but I mean, 40s, wouldn't you have a good paying job at that point? And then, I don't care what anyone says about this man. If you see someone, you could have just pretended, oh, you have the wrong hotel room, and just send him away. I would never have invited someone in there. I actually did have someone, which I ended up being the idiot. I was talking to someone on, I think it was Tinder, and I think we had snapped each other at this point. Well, when he came to my apartment, I met him outside, and he looked nothing like the person I thought I invited. And so I was nervous. I thought, oh my God, this is not who I thought it was. Lo and behold, I actually texted the wrong person. And so the wrong person ended up coming here. And I was like, oh, I thought you were someone else. So for a good 5 minutes, I was full on having a panic attack because I thought, oh my God, I'm about to be murdered. But it all ended up okay. I was just an idiot. All right, we have a Hinge story up here. You gave it 2 out of 5 hearts. You said, I've received some of the weirdest messages on Tinder. I've never been on a Tinder date before, but I've been on 2 Hinge dates and really hit it off with one of the guys. Well, I mean, at least the date wasn't bad. I mean, it could have been worse, in my opinion. Okay, here's one of the apps I've never heard of in my life. Growler. I've never heard of this app. You gave it 3 out of 5. So I'm hoping the story's not too bad. And he said, or she, I don't know who uses the app. Well, wasn't many guys on there in my area, but I met this twink chaser on the app, and we've been together the last 2 years. The first year we were open, which is how we met our third, which has been our second year together as a throuple. Oh Lord, being in a date, I could barely... Living with 2 roommates is enough for me. Being in a relationship, committed relationship with 2 people, thruples are just not for me. For me. Now, if y'all are happy, which I feel like this app just gives off hookup vibes. So for you to be able to find a person on there and be together for so long, that actually kind of shows how that was one of the more lucky stories. Okay, I remember reading this story and it made me laugh so much. It just was so it was so out of the blue. Okay, so this story comes from Tinder. You gave this story a 3 out of 5. I think it should be 5 out of 5 for this for how you did it. So you said when I was 14, I somehow got on the app while I was on vacation at Universal Studios in Orlando. I used a mugshot of the theater thug from an episode of Drake and Josh. For some reason, he ended up. My calendar decided to get on the action. For some reason, he ended up getting a lot of matches, even though it was clearly a still from the show. I would always open with lines like, "I'm the real theater thug," or "Whoa, just just take it easy, man." From there, I was somehow asked out by a woman who said she wanted us to get spaghetti. As I was a ninth grader on vacation with my family, this obviously didn't pan out. Was shocked to just find out just how into the theater thugs some people actually were. That is so... Oh my god, that is so funny. I don't really applaud people for that, like faking who they are. But that's so... If you're just on there just to goof off and kind of prank, I like that. That's really, really funny. Oh my lord, that is hilarious to me. If no one knows what we're talking about, Drake and Josh, which is I think one of the best kids shows on Nickelodeon ever received and ever created. That's the best show. There was an episode where they pretended to do a reenactment of I guess would it be our thing as FBI Most Wanted. And so they were doing a reenactment, and I think Josh dresses up as a theater thug, and then after that, people notice him on it, and they keep getting him arrested. It's funny. I love that story. For me, that's my favorite one. Okay, this person didn't really preface what app this came from, but it was good. They ended up dating. So, there's that. Next person said their story happened from Archer, but did not tell me what happened. So we will never know what happened on Archer. Oh Lord. Okay, here's the last story, and it's a long one, but we can get through it. All right. You gotta do a vocal warm up. So this story comes from Grindr. Over ended on Grindr. They rated it 3 out of 5. So he said, I used Grindr. I used this app for a week or two max before I found it too overwhelming and distracting / consuming and need to delete it. I would get flooded with unsolicited dick pics, guys looking for just RN or right now, and guys just wanting to swap nudes, followed by the offer to come top my beautiful ass. I feel like I should... Oh, this might get a little raunchy. Flattered only slightly, because if they read my fucking profile, the world know that it's not what I was looking for. At last, it's a guy's app, and guys tend to be very visual. I agree with that. So they would neglect to read the words and only let the pictures speak for themselves. I can't help that I have a sexy body or sexy pigs. I digress. The reason I scored Grindr a 3 out of 5 instead of 2 out of 5 is because it is entertaining, fun, and such. But I actually did end up finding a very sweet guy through the app. I've been in a couple of dates with him, and as badly as we want to have sex with each other, he actually is a true gentleman and wants to wait until we are official boyfriends and exclusive. He is a true find. I also rated it 3 out of 5 because I had other positive connections through the app where I met up with another guy who was really looking for an FWB, and we are good friends. You can find what you're looking for on the app, but it takes a lot of effort. For other gay, bisexual men, I'd more strongly recommend Archer, which platform is more similar to Hinge and Tinder, and is a gay app designed by gay men. Archer is less overwhelming than Grindr, but it has less people on it, and it's not as easy to just quote-unquote cruise profiles. In the end, it is all about what you're looking for, and it's up to you to use the app as a tool. The app will not spoon feed you the perfect guy. Finding them takes work, just as any subsequent relationship, and will take work. Grindr is a great hookup app, though. Great ending message on there. I agree with a lot of what you said. especially up here. Some people on those apps just look for visual pics. They do not read any of the profiles. To be honest, I've done that in the past too, but I try to read more now because I've learned that sometimes reading doesn't get you anywhere, and sometimes reading does should be very much you would be very fortunate that you actually read it instead of not reading it. So I agree with some of what you said on there. I actually didn't mean to read all 18 stories, or 16, but I had to fill up some time. So yeah, that was y'all's experiences on dating. Apparently my experiences have been very PG. Y'all's have been more wild and out there. Again, I do appreciate all of you for submitting your results in there. There were some stories that I might bleep some of the stuff out just for personal reasons. But that kind of concludes it in. I think that's a good way to end the episode on, was reading all those stories. If you would like to participate in any other future episodes and would like to have a say on the service and have a story told on here, you can hit me up on social media. On Instagram, I'll post them on my personal ones on there, The Noah Show, with 3 W's at the end. I also have a podcast Instagram for this show called Lethal Venom Podcast. I will also post those surveys on there, so just check my stories periodically. I usually post the stories on there for a day or two just so people can have a chance to get submissions turned in, and then a few days later I'll record the episode. But I'd like to get some of your responses in so you have some time. If you want us to follow the podcasts on whatever you're listening to and stay updated or when new episodes come out, podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. I also have a book podcast, Southern Reads. It's a podcast where I talk about books and only books and everything book related. If you love or know someone that loves books, you are more than welcome to check that out. It's on the same platforms I just mentioned. If either platform or either podcast is on any other more platforms, I will definitely let you guys know so you can have a chance to listen to it there if you don't have any of the servers that I just mentioned. If you have suggestions for episode ideas or just want to comment about anything or anyway, you can shoot me an email, lethalvenompod@gmail.com. Just make a good subject line so I'll know that it's for the podcast related. Just say a suggestion for podcasts, I guess would be a good one, or just something similar to that, and I'll definitely read you and I'll definitely get back to you on that. I think that's it. Some upcoming episodes, I'm planning on doing like a classroom or like a classmate storytelling ranking of them. I also have a school episode I'm coming out with, as well as there was something else on there that I had. That was already left me now, but anyways, hope y'all all have a great rest of your day, night, morning, whenever you're listening to it. Be safe out there, make smart decisions. We'll get through life together, y'all. We'll get through it. I know it's rough right now, but we'll get through it. We always will, and it just will take time. But until the next episode, I love you all so much. I appreciate you all listening through, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, y'all.